Welcome back to Inbox. On this episode, I'm joined with Nina Arcon of the YMCA to talk about Next Stop Canada, the federally funded immigrant settlement services. What is Next Stop Canada?
So Next Stop Canada is an online pre-arrival settlement service, which is one of YMCA of Greater Toronto's immigrant services programs, and we are funded through Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship Canada. And what we do is we offer pre-arrival settlement support to youth and adult immigrants ages 12 and up before they even come to Canada. So some of the things that we do is we offer information and orientation, settlement referrals, as well as one-on-one support with mentors and specialists before they even arrive.
Was there a reason why Next Stop Canada became Next Stop Canada?
This came from a call for proposals from the Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship Canada, and they saw there was a gap in settlement here, and what they were looking for is services that can actually help immigrants even before they arrive. So it depends on the stream of pre-arrival services, whether it's employment, settlement. Our program, Next Stop Canada, offers them pre-arrival settlement information and supports.
How does the Next Stop Canada differ from the other programs you offer?
So Next Stop Canada is strictly a pre-arrival settlement service, whereas the other YMCA of Greater Toronto programs are inland services. So we have the Newcomer Information Centre, we have the Newcomer Youth Leadership Development Program, and we have the Coordinated Language Assessment and Referral Centre.
What community programs are partnering with Next Stop Canada?
I can speak to some in the Greater Toronto area. So we have the YMCA of Greater Toronto being one of our main referrals because they offer both youth and adult immigrant newcomer services. We also have a variety of pre-arrival partners as well to whom we match up with and kind of use as our referral base as well, which include organizations like SOPA and Access, and it honestly all ends up depending on the client's needs. So if they are looking for housing, there's different housing referrals to which we refer them to, and then recreation, it could be community centers, libraries.
Are you guys listening to the feedback from all these referrals from the pre-arrival candidates?
Yes, we try and track the referrals as much as possible. It is ultimately up to the youth or adult immigrant to actually follow up and contact these referral agencies. So once they do, it's always positive feedback once we get a reassurance that these individuals have accessed the services.
Now, this is a federally funded program. What is the funding like, and when did you guys receive the funding?
So essentially the call for proposals for pre-arrival services was back in about 2013, 2014. And so our program launched on April 1st, 2016.
And from there, has there been any changes or adjustments that you guys have made along the way?
Yes, actually. In the beginning, we tried to, I guess, focus our referrals and our services to the Greater Toronto area. And since then, we've noticed that we have immigrants coming from all across Canada. And so we want to ensure that we have services and referrals in place for those that are immigrating to different cities and communities outside of the Greater Toronto area. And so that's been one of the biggest adjustments we've gone through at Next Stop Canada, is ensuring we have partners and community organizations in place everywhere.
Who is eligible to sign up for this program?
So our eligibility is for youth and adult immigrants ages 12 and up. They must be residing overseas in their destined countries, and they must have received official approval from Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship Canada in the permanent residence application process. So with that, they have their UCI number to which they use to register on our platform.
And that's how they register. How do they find out about this program?
So if you go to www.nextstopcanada.ca, you can click on the Register Now button, and there you'll find our online registration form. Once complete, they'll be sent a welcome email from us.
How are people finding out about this program? Is it all word of mouth, or?
It's connections between partners and overseas organizations, as well as our social media. We've been able to reach a variety of audiences abroad through channels like Facebook and Twitter.
Well, thank you for joining me. We're going to be right back after the break.
इकबाल हलाल फूड्स हलाल और एशियन ग्रोसरी में ओंटारियो का सबसे बड़ा ग्रोसरी स्टोर। हलाल मीट, ताज़ा सब्जियां, फलों और ग्रोसरी की हर ज़रूरत के लिए इकबाल हलाल फूड्स का नाम याद रखें। 2 Thorncliffe Park Drive, Toronto.
Greenish Natural Health offers a balanced formulation fulfilling all of the daily requirements for essential nutrients like vitamins and minerals. Greenish multivitamin and supplements are certified vegetarian, halal, and kosher. Ask for Greenish products at your nearest pharmacy.
If you need to protect your family and business with life and health insurance, save for your retirement and children's education, or need a mortgage advice, we can help. To set up your complimentary meeting, call us at 905-624-0008 or visit aroojfinancial.com.
मिसागा में आपका टेस्ट, ताज़ा टेस्ट, हाईवे 10 और डंडास पर। हमारी स्पेशलिटी पाया, हलीम, निहारी, चिकड़ छोले और कबाब रोल के लिए ज़रूर तशरीफ लाएं।
What are some of the most common services asked for by newcomers who are adults?
Adults, it would probably be job search. They are always looking for a job, or housing. They are looking for either short-term or long-term housing upon arrival, and they don't know where to start. So part of our role is to ensure that they have quality, personalized referral services so that they can actually make some of these decisions before arrival and be prepared.
Are you guys also offering or referring people to, say, law or healthcare or any of these other issues?
Yes. So our program covers a variety of topics, including healthcare, employment, education, and we do this through a variety of resources online. And for example, we have online webinars where we invite guest speakers to present on a topic of concern to immigrants. So for example, credential assessment or Canadian workplace culture. All of these topics that are very familiar to us, but not so familiar to immigrants. And so we offer these resources to both adult and youth pre-arrival immigrants.
Now, I can imagine youth needing other types of services. What kind of
Yes.
services would they need?
It's very interesting how different the needs are between the youth and the adults. A little bit of background information. So youth in general are in the period of their adolescence. So already they're dealing with a lot. And then throw in the curveball of immigrating to a new country. This in itself presents a lot of stress and concerns and questions. And so some of the questions that they have before arrival are, where do I go to school? And how do I make friends? And so what we do on our youth services online is we actually pair the pre-arrival youth to an inland mentor, a Canadian newcomer who's already gone through the settlement process, to be their one-on-one support friend. And so they chat together, they kind of go through this immigration process together so that they actually have a connection in Canada and feel more connected to the community even before coming here.
Now, would this mentor be a similar age to the person being mentored?
Yes, exactly. So our pre-arrival youth are between the ages of 12 to 19, and our current mentors here in the Greater Toronto Area are between the ages of 16 to 24. And so we try and match them up based on age and experience, even background, language, gender, and so we have a variety of different methods through which the mentors communicate with one another. It's either through live chat or messaging.
How are the mentors finding out about this program? How are they learning how to mentor?
So it's a very long training process that they kind of go through with Next Stop Canada in order to be equipped and prepared and have the information necessary to mentor someone abroad. So we have conferences, we have orientations, we have guest speakers come in, we have workshops offered to the mentors twice a month where they can continue enhancing some of their mentorship skills as well as enhancing other skills such as communication, teamwork, problem solving, and so all of these mentors have the skills necessary to actually help the pre-arrival youth.
Are you offering any other languages to help them learn the English or the French?
So at the Ymca of Greater Toronto, we only have the coordinated language assessment and referral centers for English and French. However, we do have referrals to a variety of partner organizations that do offer language services, translation, interpretation, and other languages as well.
What are the most popular questions that they usually get, especially for the youth, and kind of blending in? Do a lot of them speak English or French already?
They have a basic level of understanding of English, I would say, and then there are youth that don't know a lot of English, and so it's interesting when we do match them up with mentors that we try and actually find mentors who speak the same language as them. And so this kind of eradicates any language barriers between the mentee and the mentor, and so they're able to actually communicate with one another very efficiently.
After the new arrivals have come and say they become Canadian citizens or they start living here on a permanent resident status. Are you helping them in addition to that?
Yes, so we strongly believe in a pre to post arrival continuum of services. And so what we do is we partner up with community organizations and service providers all across Canada so that the pre-arrival youth and adult immigrants have an array of services ready for them once they actually land.
Okay, very nice. Thank you for coming in, and we'll be right back after the break.
इकबाल हलाल फूड्स हलाल और एशियन ग्रॉसरी में ओंटारियो का सबसे बड़ा ग्रॉसरी स्टोर। हलाल मीट, ताज़ा सब्जियां, फलों और ग्रॉसरी की हर ज़रूरत के लिए इकबाल हलाल फूड्स का नाम याद रखें। 2 Thorncliffe Park Drive, Toronto.
Greenish Natural Health offers a balanced formulation fulfilling all of the daily requirements for essential nutrients like vitamins and minerals. Greenish multivitamin and supplements are certified vegetarian, halal, and kosher. Ask for Greenish products at your nearest pharmacy.
If you need to protect your family and business with life and health insurance, save for your retirement and children's education, or need a mortgage advice, we can help. To set up your complimentary meeting, call us at 905-624-0008 or visit orujfinancial.com.
मिसागा में आपका टेस्ट, ताज़ा टेस्ट, हाईवे 10 और डंडास पर। हमारी स्पेशलिटी पाया, हलीम, निहारी, चिकड़ छोले और कबाब रोल के लिए ज़रूर तशरीफ़ लाएं।
Welcome back to Inbox. I'm here with Nina Arcon from the YMCA. Let's dive a bit more into resources.
The resources. So on our online settlement service, Next Stop Canada, we have youth and adult resources to help offer information and orientation before coming to Canada. In the adult community, we have resources such as live webinars where we have guest speakers come in and talk about certain topics such as healthcare, Canadian workplace culture, and much more. We also have pre-recorded information sessions, which are videos that feature information such as resume writing and the Canadian education system. We also have a live chat feature where pre-arrival immigrants can actually connect one-on-one with an information and referral specialist to live chat about any needs or concerns that they must have.
Are there certain hours within the live webinars or people calling in to talk to these people?
So we try and schedule our webinars based on ensuring that all time zones across the world can actually access them. So we typically have them early in the morning, and we try and have webinars at least twice a month. Whereas the live chat service is during our regular business hours. However, we do have options for pre-arrival immigrants to leave questions in the mentors forum so they can actually interact with mentors who are in their field of profession or career here in Canada and ask questions such as, how do I get a credential assessment, or what level of English do I need to get this type of job?
Speaking of language assessment, what are the different categories? Because not everyone speaks English at the same level, especially if they're coming to Canada from a country that maybe that wasn't their first language.
For the English language proficiency, we do follow the Canadian language benchmark system, and so based on where they stand in those benchmarks, they're going to be placed in a teaching class where they are going to learn at that level of English.
How many hours a week are these teaching classes or English classes or even French classes?
Yes, so to your point, so this is the Coordinated Language Assessment and Referral Center, and so what they do is they offer classes evenings, weekends, during the day. It honestly all depends on the availability of the individual.
Are they multiple days a week, multiple hours a day?
And you can, and this is the
can they go as long as they want? They can stay all day if they want to learning English.
Well,
is that a possibility?
There are classes.
Is it structured?
There are classes that are a little bit more full-time than part-time. It all depends on the centers that actually offer these different language classes, and so once the individual has their language assessment, they get to speak to a referral specialist who will actually coordinate their schedule for them depending on whether they even have a job or they might only be limited to weekends, and they have classes available for these individuals.
And these centers are not just in Toronto but all over the GTA, in every GTA city, is that correct?
Yes, so there's the YMCA language assessment centers all across the GTA, but there's also referrals to other programs where if they're outside of the GTA, they can access language assessment services as well.
Now this isn't just in person or on the phone, this is also online. So you guys have an e-learning program. Tell me more about that.
So it's actually an e-learning course that we offer on our Next Stop Canada program, and essentially this is for the youth audience. So they have an online module that is an interactive information session where they get to click and learn about a specific topic relative to a youth need. So this could be either education or health, employment, things like resume writing, job interview skills, anything that they can essentially prepare for in advance before coming to Canada.
How many modules do you currently have?
We have online 12 e-learning courses that cover these different topics, and they can span from anywhere 10 minutes to half an hour depending on the learner and how quickly they want to be pacing through the actual online course.
How are you coming up with the topics for the modules? Are these based off of questions that you receive regularly?
So it's actually based on our newcomer youth here that are in Canada. So prior to the development of our online e-learning courses, what we did is we asked newcomer youth from part of the Newcomer Youth Leadership Development Program at the YMCA, things like, what concerns do you have about life in Canada? What did you think about before you even came? What were some things that you had questions about? And a lot of these questions and concerns centered around education, youth employment, and community involvement. And so we've tried to ensure that all of our e-learning topics kind of delve into each of these different streams, only because then we can better prepare the youth upon arrival.
And are the modules random where you can just pick the topic, or are there certain levels to the modules?
So there's different topics that they can choose from, and we have a catalog of e-learning courses from which they can select. So either immigration, pre-arrival preparation, education, and then once they get into these topics, they can choose from a series of courses. So depending on the age too. So for example, our youth program is for pre-arrival youth 12 to 19. Some of the 12-year-olds might be interested in middle school, whereas the 19-year-olds are interested in post-secondary. And so we ensure that there's courses that are varied for both these audiences.
And in regards to education, what kind of topics are you covering?
We span from a variety of different topics in education, from ESL to community involvement, such as after school or before school programming, to things like course selection, which a lot of youth don't realize is a big thing when you come here in Canada. And then, funny enough, there's also even things about how to get a locker and how to open up your own lock, because a lot of, we noticed, based on feedback from newcomer youth here, that was one of the things that surprisingly stressed them out the most was, what is the locker? How do I get that open?
Are you finding that a lot of the parents and the adults are also reading and watching about these?
So we do notice that the e-learning courses are viewed by not only youth but adults as well, and we get positive feedback there as well, because then they can better prepare their children who are also immigrating to Canada.
So all the modules, I saw on the website that everything is password protected.
Yes.
So are the adults who are over the age of 16 still able to access those modules?
Yes, they actually are. So we open up our e-learning courses to both the youth and adult community. However, the specific focus of the actual courses is for a youth audience.
From a different perspective, are you also helping all these new Canadians or new immigrants fit in with Canadian social norms or Canadian culture?
We do definitely try and offer them the information and resources to ensure they understand a little bit about this before they even arrive. I can speak to some of the youth resources that we have on the platform to ensure that this is done. So for example, we have mentors here who are between the ages of 16 to 24 that offer these pre-arrival youth support and advice, and one of the ways that they do that is through communication. And so they talk a little bit about what they do here in Canada already. That way the pre-arrival youth are informed and have actual settlement experience to go by, so that they know exactly what to expect before they come.
Now, are these mentors immigrants themselves?
Yes, they are. So these are newcomer youth in the GTA who are also immigrants themselves.
Now, are there any prerequisites to becoming a mentor?
There are a few prerequisites. We do ask that the individual is an active leader in their community, and we do ask them to have a vulnerable sector screening via their local police station.
What does that mean?
It's a police clearance.
Just a police check?
Yes, yes. It's a vulnerable sector screening, so it's a little bit different than a general police check. We want to ensure that the youth are able to work with vulnerable persons as well, or even refugee youth who have different needs and different vulnerability than the norms.
Immigrant youth have lots of challenges. What are some of them that you hear about?
Some of the main concerns that we receive are how do they become active members in their community? So how do they make friends? And so what we do is through their mentorship, the youth actually advise them to, upon arrival, connect with a local community service, such as a library, to either volunteer or to become a part of different clubs at school. We also advise them to connect with their mentors and establish a communication and kind of like a friendship before they even arrive, so that they establish a Canadian connection and they feel more comfortable even upon arrival because they have a friend.
A lot of immigrants can be taken advantage of in a lot of different ways when they come here, unfortunately, with people saying, no, this is the norm, this is the norm. How are you helping alleviate this?
We do this by offering them quality, personalized referral services to organizations and services in their destined communities so that they actually have someone to turn to address their specific needs.
Well, thank you, Nina, for coming in and taking the time to be here. Best of luck with the program at the Y, and we'll see you next time.
#1 multicultural channel. This is TAG TV.